Welcome back, guys. It's Thursday. That means you are here with Zach and Jason. We are Market House, and we are proud partners of Winject Studios. So welcome back. So today, before we get into what we're going to talk about, I want to hit on some stuff that we've been working on behind the scenes. One of the biggest things that we've been integrating into the website is the intercom integration. So go over to the website, wait for about 5 seconds. You'll see the little pop-up there. It'll prompt you some questions. We'd love for you guys to join over there. Check that out. Give us some feedback on what you think about that. Also, if you did not tune in yesterday to Chris's message, be sure, don't do it now because listen to what we're talking about now. But after this, go and check that episode out. There's tons of giveaways. There's a lot of new things that are coming. We're giving away 100 Shure mics. That's a big deal.
To one person?
Yeah,
100 microphones to one person?
Yeah, I don't know what you're going to do with 100 microphones as one person.
We're all mic'd up. I've got 2. Let's go.
So make sure you guys go check that out. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Winject.com. Yeah, anywhere you get a podcast, go check it out. So make sure you check that out today. You're not going to want to miss that. So we want to hear questions from you guys. So post them in. Say, hey, we want to know if people are out there listening to us. So if you guys don't mind, pop in, say, hey, ask us some questions. We're going to be talking about content is king. Now, that's not a phrase that Jason and I actually came up with. That term has been around for a while. And I believe, if I'm correct.
My name is Billy Gates.
No, you're not. Well, that means you're going through a really messy divorce right now.
Not Billy Gates, then.
Okay. By the way, guys, we want to make sure you join the community. So make sure you text 843-396-2104 to join this amazing community and what we're building here. We want you guys to be a part of it. So you can also go to winject.com and you can check out stuff there. So let's get back to the content is king. I believe Bill Gates actually in 1996 coined that phrase. And he actually said that in the future, people are going to make more money off content on the web than anything else. And he was 20 years later, I guess, or whatever that math is, 96 to 2000. I'm not a math major. Was something, whatever. He's right. It's 100% accurate. And so the proof is kind of in the pudding, to kind of go along with some more analogies. I did not make that one up either. But some recent stats I just read just this week from Social Planner. It's actually socialplanner.co. They released an article talking about content is king, which was kind of funny. Just recently, they just released this article. And it said that 74% of companies attribute an increase of leads to their consistent, that's the key word, and we'll get into that later. Jason will talk about that, content marketing strategy. And then the content marketing gets six times more conversions when you compare that to other digital marketing approaches. Inbound marketers have in the past increased their conversion rate by 6% because of their content marketing strategies. And here's the biggest one that I think makes content king and why you should be doing it. More than half of American consumers today buy a product or use a service after seeing recommendations on a blog or through content. That's incredible. Over 50%. Can you believe that?
Half of all buying decisions.
All buying decisions are coming from what? Content. It's because they're seeing those recommendations and they're seeing content that's written around those things. I didn't know that. That number seems very high to me.
That's actually quite large, but it makes sense because, one of the things that we've always talked about over the years is the necessity of surrounding your brand with like social proof, and whether that is reviews on your site or reviews on social media or word of mouth or whatever it is. It's that proof. It's that proof that it's a good product. It's also the reason why the about page on your website is one of the most trafficked pages. It's because people want to know about the brand. They want to know about the product. They want to find out more. Like, people want more. They want more content, right? They want to know more. They want to feel like they can trust it. And because the world has been so, the world is currently so defined by the enormity of content, we're all consumers, right? So we're all walking down this path of consumption, and because it's there, it just continues to make the problem bigger. Not a problem, but it just continues to make it a bigger thing, right? So we need more content. We need to know everything about everything, right?
Yeah, and I think that there's, I think when I said just a few minutes ago, when I mentioned the word consistency, there is a strategy behind it. You can't just start popping up some blogs every once in a while and say, "Oh, well, here we go. I'm in the game of content marketing." Yes, you are, but Jason can speak to this a little bit more directly. But you have to be consistent, and
right.
Why is that, Jason?
Yeah, well, consistency is crucial because, for one, your content, stuff you're putting out, whether it's a blog or it's a podcast, or if it's any type of media, video media, whatever, your content that you put out into the world fuels everything, right? And if you are not consistent with that, for one, it's hard to build a follower base. So say you start off and you're really gung-ho and you drop 5 podcasts to launch your podcast, and then you are dropping like 1 or 2 a week or something like that. And then you're like, crap, like I'm sick. I don't have time to record this week. And you don't have any backlog built up, and you like wait a week. Okay. People might be like, wait, hey, where the heck is the show this week? And if our partner spot wasn't every Thursday, people might be like, hey, wait, I thought those guys were on Thursdays. People might go, hey, what's going on? And then maybe you get back on schedule, and then like a couple weeks later, you are off, you take a vacation, and you're not caught up yet. And maybe it's like a week in between or 2 weeks. If there's not consistency, people don't know when to tune in, because even though our lives aren't surrounded by like TV as much anymore, like schedules, because so many people are streaming now, people still look for consistency. So like, I know for myself, there's several YouTubers I watch, and I'm like, I know these guys post something every Sunday, Wednesday, and then every other Friday. Or I know this other person drops content every other day. And so I know to tune in and look to that.
Right.
And that develops a loyalty, right? So I say all that to say, one, consistency develops loyalty. But also when it comes to true content, so, whether it's the podcast that you make in audio or video form and the show notes that are connected to it, or your blogging strategy, whatever it is, you need to do something and stick to it and make it consistent, because in terms of data and in terms of Google and things like that, Google is looking for those regular, consistent connections. It's looking to your website to say, is it dynamic, and is it constantly being updated? And for Google and for search engine optimization and for visibility on the web, consistency is second only to your content.
Yeah. So let's give them some examples of when we say content, what are we talking about? Everybody goes to the first thing that they think of: blogs, news, media, that sort of thing. But I do want to hit on podcasting, guys. We're talking directly to podcasters with Winject Studios, and if you're on YouTube, all of that stuff, that's content that's being put out there on a consistent basis. That's why Jason mentioned we're doing this on Thursdays. We're consistently doing it on Thursdays because content is important. People want that. And the reason why content is so reigns so much is you want to give people what they want. Mm-hmm. It gives people, when you put out the content, you want to put out content that people are wanting to read or people to intake, but also you want to put it out there in a unique way that they can't just get anywhere else, because there's tons and tons and tons of content that's out there that you can get the same kind of content wherever you go. It's everywhere. But I think the difference is that you want to make it unique to you, right? You don't want to just do something that everybody else. If you hear that leaf blower, I'm sorry. There are people doing our landscaping right now. He's right out my window. But anyways, yeah, it's content is king because you're giving it to people who want that content.
Okay. Here, let me take over, and you can maybe mute while Mr. Leaf Blower is working his thing. To do an aside there, I think one of the key points about why content is so important is because it provides a certain level of accessibility, right? So, Bill Gates said that back in 96, you said, I think. Yeah. So 96, and internet starting to ramp up in the early 90s, and by mid 90s, people are just going bananas. And, that's suddenly the world has become accessible to so many people that were previously disconnected. Right. And so with the constant and consistent rise of new ways to connect with people over the internet, essentially through a data connection, anywhere you have a data connection, you are connected. Right. And so you instantly become accessible, and content has been so democratized or just, accessible to, like the 1,000th power. And because it's so accessible, you need to be there, right? So you need to be consistent, and you need to constantly be producing the content. And to Zach's point, a minute ago, that content needs to be like in your own voice, your unique way of bringing that viewpoint to the world, because that's what will hook with people, right? So that's the whole reason you have your podcast, is because you have something to say and you feel that is unique to you. And so you need to make sure that you make that accessible to as many people as you can connect with. And so sorry, I guess the leaf blower is gone, so you can continue on.
The leaf blower is gone. Yeah, he's moved away. But anyways, yeah, we are we're live right now, guys. We want you to join the community, 843-396-2104. We would love to have you be a part of this community that we are building here. It's pretty exciting stuff that we are doing. Like I mentioned at the top of this show, if you didn't tune into Chris's episode yesterday, we are doing some pretty big giveaways and special offers that are coming pretty soon. So pretty exciting stuff. So go and check out his episode that just dropped yesterday. It's really quiet out there right now, not the leaf blower, but we're not hearing anybody asking any questions. We want to know, like, what are some things you guys have that you're considering with content, maybe for your podcast, maybe for your business, whatever it is. We'd love to hear from you guys. So drop a line. We're going to answer some questions in a few minutes. So so like I mentioned earlier, those statistics show that more than 50%, over 50% of Americans who are consuming or buying a product are making these decisions based off recommendations on blogs or any of that, any kind of content that you are putting out there. So if you're not in this space, you're missing out. And I encourage you guys to think of a way that's unique, that's different, that you can put out there that people are putting that's different than everybody else's. I mean, if you're a podcaster, there's nothing new under the sun. Me and Jason had a marketing podcast for several years, and we made it unique because we knew that there was not that we weren't the only marketing podcast that was out there. So what we did was we did it through a lunch break. We recorded on our lunch breaks. And we embraced that. We called it lunch break marketing. Still out there. You can still consume that content that's there. But the point I'm making is find a unique way to present that content and shape that around your business and what your brand is that makes sense to the masses.
I think it's a lot of times when people wonder about how do I make new content, because we can expand this just beyond podcasters, because podcasters have a voice, they know what they want to say, they have thoughts, and so they turn those into shows. So, expanding beyond that into, the world of just business or whatever you have to say, whatever your voice is. We get this question a lot, like, what am I supposed to write about? What am I supposed to talk about? Because people who aren't, I guess, naturally inclined to, self-promote or to just to talk about their business, they often find it difficult to find something to say, when in actuality, you probably just need some help. So, whether it's us as an agency or really just asking maybe someone else on your team or asking a friend who knows what you do or has a general idea of what you do, for just maybe some insight, or just say, hey, do you have any questions about my business or about what I do? And then you could just start there by answering them. Because the thing is, people like us, me and you and Chris and Russ and everybody else on the Winject Studios team and all the other podcasters out there, people like us having conversations, we have become the content publishers of the world, right? Yeah. We are the content creators of the world. The big term, if you're not a podcaster, the other big name in this space is a YouTuber, right? So people who are constantly creating content for others to consume are the content creators, and the whole world beyond the creators are the consumers. And there's a massive amount of people, tipping on the side of the consumer scale. And so even though there's a lot of people out there in this space, podcasting and, putting content on YouTube or TikTok or whatever space you're on, whatever social platform that you're on, creating space, there's never not going to be a space for you. Like if you are just getting into podcasting, or if you're thinking about getting into podcasting and you haven't pulled the trigger yet, sit down and think about what you want to say. And yeah, there might be other people saying the same things, but those people aren't you. And there's a whole world out there just ready to consume your content. And I think I touched on this a little bit before, but making sure you are putting that content onto your website, onto your blog, is super important. So some people will transcribe a whole episode, and there are services out there that'll do the transcription for you. But transcribing the episode is a great way to start to get that content on your site in a written form. Making sure that content is robust and is actually pulling in key topics of what you're talking about is important. But if you don't want to go the transcription route and you just want to write up 500 words about what you're talking about in the episode, hitting key points, dropping links to stuff that you talked about, maybe linking over to another show where you had a similar point or you referenced something, essentially making an article form for your podcast episode. It's important because that will help your visibility for the actual show itself, growing beyond just those people who are audio listeners. So that SEO side of it, making sure that you have the written content to work as a companion to that video and audio content that you're producing, that's very important. That'll help increase that visibility far beyond what you would expect. So I think someone's at your door. Is that the lawn guy? Is he at your door now?
I don't know. That's a good question. I should go check that out. But is there any questions you guys have out there before we wrap up? We want to make sure that we address anything that you guys have out there going on. We want to make sure that you guys are getting some value out of this. And if you have some questions that you guys have specifically, we want to answer them. So if not, just say, hey, we want to see who's out there, who's watching this today and to talk. So.
And you can drop a comment wherever you're watching, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. And you can also message us through the community app. You just text 843-396-2104. You say, hey, I like those guys from Market House. Zach is cool, but Jason is cooler. If you just want to just start there, I think that's a great place to start. Or ask us any questions. We can get those after the show too. So it doesn't have to be while we're live. So if you're watching this later, you can still message in and ask questions or throw out a topic for a future episode too. Like something you have a marketing question about.
Yeah. So if there's anything that you guys think of marketing wise, website wise, we're the guys to talk to. We want to be able to give you guys some advice, some help. We also have exclusive offers for the Winject community. Now, this is only for Winject community members. And so if you want to check that out, if you go to sitenowlive.com/Winject, you can see what those deals are. And we want to be able to help you guys out. Get your website up and running. It's important to have a great digital front door. That's the way I like to see websites, is a digital front door that people are coming and interacting with your site. And it's your face. It's what represents you and your brand. And we want to be a part of making that great and helping you thrive and grow. So
for sure.
We don't have any more questions. We don't have any questions. That's fine. We, like I said, drop us a line wherever you're watching this. We will follow up with any questions as you're watching this that you have. If it's around content marketing, website, podcasting, whatever it is, hit us up. We want to help you guys out and answer those questions.
Yeah,
we've had a lot of technical difficulties, so we appreciate you guys hanging in there with us today.
Yeah. To say one more time, don't forget to go back yesterday, right? Watch Chris's episode on the Winject Studios podcast from yesterday to learn all about those upcoming giveaways, special offers. Yes, I was speaking earlier.
100 mics.
Yeah, it's not going to one person. I just want to clarify. But yeah, Chris is awesome, right? So he's the whole reason that we're a part of this community, is because he is amazing, and we believe in his vision about where he wants to take this. And he's amazing, and you can just see that because, one, in the way he talks, and because he's always hyped about everything that has to do with this community. And two, just look at this, like 100 mics. That's crazy, right? So we're super excited to be a part of this community, and we hope that you win. So go watch this episode, learn how to get into all of those giveaways, and then learn about all the special offers from the partners. And then check us out, sitenowlive.com/Winject.
Yeah. The only downside to Chris is he's a Clemson fan, but go Dogs. September 4th, we were probably not going to be speaking to each other, and that's okay. Yes, that's it for today, guys. We appreciate you tuning in. Those who are watching live and those who rewatch this later, make sure you ask any questions that you guys have. We want to answer those questions for you, so please hit us up, and we'll go from there. We'll see you guys next week, 2:00 Thursday.
Cheers.
See you guys.
This broadcast is brought to you by Winject Studios. We are an all-in-one educational platform for podcasters that revolutionizes how hosts leverage content to increase engagement with listeners, downloads, and income. We come together to focus on community, collaboration, and collective impact. For more information on how you can interact directly with our hosts, access exclusive live content with offers you can't get anywhere else from our official partners, join our purpose-driven community by visiting www.winject.com. If you're ready to build a career